possible na tataas dito ng konti, pareho, tapos baksak.
Okay. Pag hindi na rin tune.
Yeah, if you don't tune it. So if you tune it, everything goes up. Like the Navara a while ago. So he got 10 horses more on top of everything, whatever he was after the retune. Pero before the retune, he did say na ramdam na malakas yung sibat pero parang supot sa dulo. Yeah. That's the first thing.
Naabuti mo ba yung dulo? Parang hindi.
Yeah, you do. Kasi just the first thing, ganun lang eh. The first thing you're gonna do once you get into the car, upakan mo na kagad dyan eh. Oh. Which is one of the few times that people actually drive it a red light. When you normally don't do. But after stuff like this, every single person does it without any exception. Or you just drive la ganun. Paglabas, upak. Oh, ayun. How often do you do that?
Currently, hindi pa eh. Pero...
Now you will. But so far, yeah, if you look at your power graph, since you don't drive red line, I'm guessing you spend most of your time only up to mga... Umabot ka ng 3? Hindi, no?
Hindi.
Bihira.
Nung inuwi ko yan, galing kasi galing Isabela yan.
So, pero dito sa dulo pa lang, it's 60 horses right then and there. But since you're a diesel, unang naramdaman mo pag sumibat ka kasi is the torque, it's not the power per se. And your maximum torque happens here at the low RPM of 2.2. Okay. So ito yung mararamdaman mo.
Kasi actually nung kinuha ko yan, ang dinrive ko kasi my brother has sabi ko super sweet. Tapos it was done here with the Reflash and unit chip. Yeah. So, iba yung response eh.
Of course.
Kaya pasakay ko dito.
Parang
grabe yung lag.
That's wala. There's no other. Every car 2005 and afterwards always has that lag. There's no way around it. It's mandated by the it's sort of mandated by the US government.
Tapos nung nakaraan, nagtitingin-tingin din ako. I come across this, yung mga parang mga pedal.
Yun, wala.
Yung magkahiwalay pa na.
Wala. So, yun, tatapon mo rin yun. Those things naman
Yung
kasi,
DP chip.
DP chip, race chip, all of these chips, we go in. I give you the long version. I give the long version. Almost, okay, this one, if you want to take it as a whole, can mean one of 3 things. What we did, which is ECU remap, can mean piggyback, like a unit chip, or yun nga, DP chip, race chip, DTP, DTE, or all anything that starts with a D. Yun. If you want to be varied, this is what chip tuning means. But as it's used now, it's used to refer all of these things. These things, all of them do one and the same thing. They increase fuel pressure. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, this is your engine. Make it prettier. Let's make it prettier. These are your injectors. This is yung common rail. There is a thing here called a fuel pressure sensor. This is a mass airflow sensor. Itong mga to, nakasaksak lang dito yan. It goes in between, then this goes to the ECU of the car. Ang trabaho niya is to alter the voltage signal because for all of these things work on voltage. So let's say 1 volt to 4.5 volts. So for every 1 volt, you get, when I say 100 fuel. 1.5 volts, you get 150 fuel. So on and so forth. What these things do is they alter the voltage signal. And by the way, all of these things are dependent on the RPM also. So let's say 1 volt, may 100 fuel ka. Ang gagawin niya ngayon, babawasan nito yung 1 volt, gagawin niyang 0.8 volts. Okay. Makikita ng ECU yun, 0.8 volts, mababa. babato siya ngayon ng signal dun sa suction control valve para taasan yung pressure. Para ibalik dun sa 1 volt.
So, in a way, it's parang it's tricking the ECU.
It's altering the electrical signal to the ECU, yes.
To think that it's on a lower.
So the ECU will now throw, so let's say at 1 volt, you give 100 fuel. Suction control valve gives you 100 fuel. So what happens is at 0.8 volts, pababaan niya. So now suction control valve will give you 120 fuel para bumalik sa 1 volt. So yun yung feedback loop niyan. That's how it works. All of these things work the same way. They just alter the voltage signal coming out. Pero may hangganan yan. Di ba? Let's say 0 to 4.5 volts. You can actually alter it to like 4.7 volts. Papatasin mo. Yun, check engine yan.
Ilaw na yan.
Oo, kasi masyado na mataas. It's out of its operating range. So that's why all these things may adjustment. So you can adjust it in such a way that sagad na sobra, plak, check engine. Masyado mataas yung fuel pressure.
Okay. Ang kinakaba ko rin dito, isa pa, parang sabi nila, plug and play.
Yes, it is.
I mean, how do they characterize etong mga voltage levels na to?
Ayun, di ba? Kahon siya na ganyan.
Paano naging applicable siya dun sa akin? Baka mamaya, iba yung response nung engine ko kaysa dun sa pinag-tunan nila.
That's why may adjustment yan. Usually, it's a dial or it's a row of 10 switches.
Okay.
May adjustment siya.
So,
napipihit. Tapos may mga iba doon, self-adjusting. Yun, kalokohan yun. May setting, hindi self-adjusting. Bubuksan mo yung kahon, nandun yung sa loob yung adjustment. So, these things work. But the problem is, since you're adjusting only one parameter, there's only a limit on how much power you get. Mataas na dito yung 25 to 30 horses. Mataas na yan. That's pretty much what any of these things can do. And how much is this? Ito, 50 ata ito eh. Ito, mura na to, 25. Ito, 35. Ito, 30. Then you get 30 horsepower. Ito, magkano? 25,000. 60 horse. Half the price, twice the power. Why the hell would you buy that? Because, well, number one, it is plug and play, very convenient. Meaning, you come in, after 5 minutes of work, alis ka na. But that's just one aspect of the diesel engine. The other aspect that DP chip and all of these things cannot control is because you have fuel pressure, you have also injector timing, injector duration, you have boost, then you have airflow. Lahat yan kailangan diesel na makina. So fuel pressure, check, we can correct. Injector timing is kailan bumubukas yung injector in terms of the combustion cycle. Meaning that yung piston, nandito pa lang, mag-squirt na siya. So there's more time for all of this to mix when it compresses up. So the earlier you can... No. When the injector opens,
okay.
In relation to where this is. You don't inject it at the very, very top. No. It doesn't work that way. Injector duration, how long the injector stays open. The longer it stays open, the more fuel comes out. Yun. So, yun, nakakontrol ng remap yan. Boost, yun, sa turbo mismo, yung actuator. And yung mass airflow, yung that square thing in front of your airbox. Yun. All of these things contribute to making power. Unit chip can control this one, this one, this one, and this one. Injector duration din yan nako-control. So that's why between remap and unit chip, there's usually a 10 to 20 horse difference between these two. Mas mahina to. So if you in grand scheme, let's say DP chip, you have 30 horses. With unit chip, we get about 45. With remap, we get 60. Yan yun.
Kasi yung sa brother ko nga, sabi ko nga, naka-unit chip siya. Sabi ko, papagamit din ako ng ganyan. Sabi ko, no. Kung pwedeng diretso yung sa'yo ng remap. Yeah, you do a remap.
Yes, correct.
Sabi niya, mas malakas yun. Mas marami kang magigain mo kaysa sa
than unit chip alone.
Okay, so this explains it.
Yes, that explains it. Ito, malaking factor yan. Yung injector duration. So, but, okay, and pricing-wise, ayan, 50,000, 35,000, 25,000. So, dehado. But these companies are still in existence primarily because their business model is not limited to the Philippines. Meaning what? Let's say you live in let's say this Australian company, live in some weird Australian outback town with no dyno, no car shop, no nothing, and you just need your pickup to be more powerful. They'll ship that to you. You plug it in and then away you go. Yeah. It still works. That's the business model of every racing chip in the world because they don't just serve. Let's say, race chip is in Germany. They don't just serve Germany naman eh. You can live in Liechtenstein. Oh, yun.
So, ayaw rin yung isa sabihin tayo nila. Sabihin, kasi galing Germany to. So, parang...
Their primary market is for, yun na, kasi kung wala kang shop na ganyan nito, wala kang choice eh. Ito lang, mabibili mo sa internet yan eh. Then they'll ship it to you. Then there's instructions on YouTube how to install it. And then you get power. But if you have access to a shop like this, the price you pay, this is it. So, lumalabas, hindi sulit. Ang isa pa yun, at talagang hindi sulit, ito, throttle control. Yan, ito, dami nito ngayon.
Yan sa tapak.
Oh, you have shadow, you have top speed,
Ayan,
you have E-drive, you have something drive, you have, basta, lahat sila. They all do one and the same thing also. Because what happens right now is, with every modern car, 2005 up, you have what's called an electronic throttle. I'm assuming all of you, both of you are old enough to know na yung kotse dati may kable na hinihila para mag-rev, di ba? Yun. Wala nang ganun yun. Wala nang ganun ngayon yun. So what you have right now is a pedal with a sensor. Basically a potentiometer. That rotates when you press the pedal. Ang analog niyan, ito yung throttle mo, meron kang motor dito. So, you're assuming that if I step on this one 20%, this opens 20%. No.
Kasi ganun sa cable eh.
Yes, 1:1 eh.
1:1.
Yes. No, doesn't happen. This probably opens by 15%, 13, maybe 14. We don't know.
Okay.
But it's never equal.
So it's parang they reduced it.
Yeah, this is the lag that all of you feel. Kasi nasanay ka na itong tapak, ito dapat yung bilis eh. No. Hindi. Kasi ito yun. It's, why they do this is primarily because of emissions. Yeah, according to the US government. Because once upon a time, ayun, alam mo yun, di ba? Hindi lang, nagra-rev ka. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Whenever you rev the engine suddenly from a closed throttle position to suddenly a big throttle position, your ECU will give the instruction to inject more fuel. Kasi biglang lumaki. So, dumami yung hangin. Kailangan may katumbas na krudo yan para hindi mamatay yung makina. And at that particular instant, madaming yung pinasok mo na crudo nandito, hindi nasusunog yun. It's just there to keep the engine from dying. A lot of it goes out the tambucho as pollution. America says that's bad.
So it's an imperfect fuel to air
ratio. It is imperfect because suddenly big throttle opening over a small amount of time. So by slowing your throttle down, they can timpla it better. The ECU can timpla it better. So, ang nangyari dyan, yung throttle controller, ginagawa niya, 1:1. No. 20% na. 30% tapak equals to 30% throttle opening. Here's the problem. What they're doing is, instead of letting the ECU dictate the fuel, the volt, once again, these are all voltages, ha? So, this is 1 to 5 volts. 1 to 5 volts. If you open up the actual map inside the ECU, it's an Excel table. This is pedal. This is RPM. Throttle opening. So this is 0 to 100. It's 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on and so forth. Instead of letting the ECU na look it up at this table na dumadaan dito when you press the pedal, ang ginagawa niya, gina-jump na kagad yung voltahe. So let's say from 1 to 5 volts, instead of going from 1 volt, 1.5 to all the way down, gina-jump niya from 1 volt directly, tinatapon niya, let's say 2.5 volts. So the ECU will automatically reference 2.5 volts somewhere here. At that point, malaki yung throttle opening. Bigyan natin ng, same as always, bigyan natin ng crudo na madami. Kaya lumalakas sa gas. Pag nagkabit ka nito. Lumiliksi siya, yes. Pero lumalakas yung konsumo kasi nga, gina-jump mo yung voltahe kaagad. You're not letting the ECU do its job. You're altering the input signal right away. That's the problem. Pag sa remap, dito mo tinitira. You're actually changing the throttle opening angle, not the voltage. Ito, voltage base. So makita ng ECU, let's say from 1 volt, suddenly it becomes 3 volts in a very, very short amount of time. Almost instantaneous. Dump kagad ng madami. Imbes na pag sa remap, pinapadaan niya dito. Ito ang hindi sinasabi lahat sa inyo ng mga nagbebenta ng throttle controller na ikaw naman, pag kinabit, plug and play eh. Mabilis, as in 2 minutes, nakakabit. Ikot mo. Pag hindi ka masaya, sige, tanggalin mo. Pag tapak mo, malakas ka agad. Uy, malakas, sige, alis ka na, bayad ka ng 7.5. Minsan, 10 pa ata eh. But what all of these people never tell you is that lalakas sa gas. May nakasagutan din ako doon sa top speed doon eh. Bobo rin yung sumagot doon eh. Yung sa Facebook nila. Sinabi ko nga, I told them this exact thing. What all of you don't tell your customers is that if you do that, lumalakas ang konsumo. Sir, kasi meron naman eco mode. At saka normal mode. Kaya nga power mode. Kaya nga bumili niyan kasi gusto mo niyan eh. Lagay mo dito sa eco mode.
Wala to.
Hindi gumagana yun. Hindi, gumagana yan. Mas mabagal pa.
Gano'n.
Oo.
Ito siguro yung...
normal eh. Normal.
Yan yung stock.
Stock. Nandyan ka na nang galing eh. Tapos mag-eco mode ka. Sinong loko-loko naglalagay ng eco mode dyan?
Lalong magiging unresponsive.
Yes. Yes. Titipid nga sa. Kaya nga eco mode. Pero makupad. Everybody who ever has these 3 buttons has tried this at least once. Doon nilagay sa eco mode. Kupad, ayoko nito. Balik dito. So you end up, you get the, yes. That's the problem with all of these things. They are not honest with you, completely honest with you. They do what they say that, yes, faster response. Quicker acceleration. Okay. Tama naman eh. So, yun lang. Crappier mileage. Meron pa ibang variant dyan. Meron pang setting na 1 to 10. Malamang ilalagay mo sa 10, di ba? 0 is basically nothing. But once again, these are sold to people who want a very quick fix, like a 2-minute job, like the plug and play. 2 minutes. You come in, you get out, I get my money. And it does deliver what it says. So all those 2 things, the plug and play chips, the throttle controllers are all rendered useless by ECU remap.
Pwede ko mamatay yung makina pag hindi siya nakapag-deliver ng fuel.
Oo, may hangin, walang crudo. Patay. Hindi, patay doesn't mean destroyed engine. Patay just means it shuts down. You need any engine in the world, diesel. You need fuel and you need air. Lack one, dead. Pag sa gasolina naman, you need spark. Kulang ng isa, patay. So yun. So right now, yun.
Happy with my 60 horses.
It's actually, if you want to be strict about it, it's 60 to 90 horses. 60 to 90 because your 90 horse happens at 4,000 RPM. Your 60 horse happens at 2,000. it's a range. You always have to understand that horsepower is meaningless without RPM. Always has to have this. Kahit anong, so sanay tayo horsepower as far as engine goes, but horsepower can describe any other thing like electric motor. May RPM din yun. Yung horsepower, meron din siyang, let's say, linear motor. May speed din yun.
Saka sabi mo, very seldom umaabot to eh. Nandito ka eh.
Horsepower always has to have time element. Pinag-aralan nyo lahat yan no high school eh. I'm sure you all know this too. Force equals?
Mass times acceleration.
Yun. And you get? Power. Kasi acceleration is a factor of time. Well, not exactly. It's not equal to equal, but this is pretty much it. No, ikot mo na. Test drive, test drive. When you drive normally, you should see about 8 to 10% mas matipid.
Okay. So, less fuel consumption.
Yes. 8 to 10% is plenty. Nothing on, as far as Planet Earth goes, will magically make your fuel consumption 50% better.
Okay.
Upak. Ay, napitin pa ako. Sige, diretso ka ng Santo Domingo. Yun, medyo mahaba yun. Walang intersection to section.
Okay.
Now you can floor to 4,000 RPM. Kumakambyo pa eh. Hindi pa pa-on yan eh. Hindi pa pa-on yan eh. Yan. Very good. Sige, kanan. Kanan. Saan ka ba uwi?
Sa Rizal, Rodriguez. Pero
Rizal,
papunta
Antipolo?
ako. Pa ganun, papunta doon. Pero ngayon, pa Laguna ako.
Ayun.
Ang work ko ay sa Laguna eh.
Tamang-tama.
Mamaya.
Mamaya.
SLEX.
Enjoy. Sige, diretso pa. Nasa Marawi. Yung sa stoplight. Okay. Mas magaan yung pakiramdam.
Oo.
Yun. Basically, that's what ECU remapping is all about. You get a better, more magaan car.
Oo. Tsaka konting tapak lang.
May sibat na.
Ramdam ko na.
Yes.
Oo.
Yun ang gusto lahat ng tao eh.
Doon ako nakukulangan dati. Pag yung tapak ko na gano'n, parang tagal niya sumibat.
Yep.
Ngayon.
Ayan, yun na. Ayan, 19 na.
Saglit lang eh.
Mm-hmm. That's also how it becomes more fuel efficient because you don't have to step on the pedal as much anymore, unlike before. So, konting tapik lang, matulin na, your tendency is bibitaw ka.
Bibitaw ka.
So, less pedal, less konsumo.
Kabila.
Isa pa. Yeah.
Sarap eh. Dumadamba eh.
Okay. Enjoy then. Enjoy going to Laguna later.
Ito ka na yan.